You're watching the Jakarta Globe News Channel. I'm Florence Armein. On The Perspective, we have Shoeb Kagda, the editor-in-chief for Indonesia's leading business magazine, Globe Asia. Hello, Shoeb. It's been a while. We've had him a while on board, a couple of... I don't think we need to mention when it was pretty long time ago. The reason why we brought him back on board is to share not only the economic outlook for Indonesia 2017, but also primarily we want to talk about the new face of Globe Asia, ladies and gentlemen. It's out now on the newsstands, but if you're an avid reader of Globe Asia, you'd notice the changes that they've made on their 11th year. Correct, Shoeb?
Absolutely.
You've passed a century.
A decade.
Yes, a decade. So you're going into your 11th year. So what's the philosophy behind this change?
Well, you know, change is a constant in my view, and after 10 years we thought that the readers would like a new perspective, a fresh look. So we decided that we'd revamp the magazine, but at the same time we wanted to keep the soul and the spirit of the magazine, which has always been promoting entrepreneurship, free markets, and also, of course, you know, profiling Indonesia's business leaders. But the market has changed since we first started in 2007. And so what we have done is we've redesigned the magazine. We've given it a fresh look. We've changed the font. It's a bit lighter, a lot more sexy in our view. Hopefully the readers will like it too. But more importantly, on the content side, we've also had some significant changes. For example, we now have a current affairs section and a trending section. And this is not just about current affairs in Indonesia, but across the world, to give readers a perspective and an idea of what happened in that previous month and what is likely to happen in the coming month. Right. So there's a flow to it, and you know, we highlight issues, and it's small, what we call bite-sized reports. Sometimes it could just be a photograph and a caption. Sometimes it could be a statistic which jumps out at you. Sometimes it could be a quote from a newsmaker around the world. So that's now a new addition to the magazine.
But why now, though?
Well, yes, you know, this is where, you know, there's a subjective decision to be made. We could have introduced earlier, but we felt that, you know, after 10 years, this was a good opportunity, and you know, a good reason to freshen things up.
Did you think in the way that it seems that, if I may assume, that you're targeting, of course, into a younger audience? Now, is it in the way that the readers, your future readers, have in the way that technology has changed the way they consume news and so on and so forth? Does that factor in also into the changes you made to the magazine? You're
absolutely right. I think you know, it's also a response to market forces. Today's readers, of course, you know, are on their smartphones. They rarely have time to read long articles. The demographic has changed. You know, we have you know, a rising breed of new leaders, young leaders, both in business as well as in politics and in civil society. So we also, in a way, responding to market. So it's appealing to me when you said, it's intriguing when you said that for this leading business magazine, that's how you've always been known, how you've branded yourself, to include current affairs of what's happening not just in Indonesia, but also around the world. I mean, is that by design, that you'd want people to know of the events that's taking place, not just in Indonesia, but outside the world, that could affect their decision makings, may that be for business or regulators or any stakeholders too? Absolutely. I think, you know, in a globalized world, you know, we don't operate as an island, right? So what happens in our region affects us. What happens in the rest of Asia affects us. What happens in the rest of the world affects us. So I think Indonesians, not just the leaders, but Indonesians themselves must understand the global forces at work and how this will impact their lives. For example, technology. You know, we may take it for granted, but technological change is now progressing at such pace that, you know, what was just evident a year ago may no longer be relevant going forward. they need to know this.
Yeah.
You know, young Indonesians coming into the workforce must also understand that, you know, a job is also, the whole nature of future jobs is changing.
Yeah.
So how does this impact their lives? It's not just business, but the nation as a whole.
But in essence, Globe Asia, it's keeping its soul of leading a nation of well-informed youngsters of what's happening, not just business-wise, but also global issues. Now, when we come back after the break, we will talk about, Shoeb mentioned earlier, what's new in the magazine, but we want to know what are the money makers from Globe Asia that you're keeping, and also the covers, CEOs to watch in 2017, and we'll talk about Persons of the Year when we come back.